Up next, we're going to have Beth, the Vice President of Clinical Operations for Jigsaw Developmental Services, talking about tracking staff and scorecard data. Thank you for being here. Beth, I'll let you go ahead and share your screen and introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate you sharing all your work, Sean. I feel like we're all going to leave here with a really long to-do list because we're so inspired by the many different ways that we can use the system. And so I appreciate having the opportunity today to kind of share all of our innovative ideas with each other. So, as Amy said, I am the Vice President of Clinical Operations at Jigsaw Developmental Services. And today I'll be sharing with you a little bit about how we have integrated Hi Rasmus into our performance management system, specifically using staff profiles and scorecards to support staff growth and improve the quality of our services. So a little bit, oh, can you see my screen there? Did the slide work? Let me see. Okay. So a little bit about us, just for context, we are a small, locally owned and operated organization in Phoenix, Arizona, and we provide ABA services in homes, school, community, and center-based settings. So, is my screen white? Is the slide white? It is? Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on one second. I don't know why.
We
Do you
can
mind if I stop
we
sharing
can
and
yeah, we can see our goals. Is that what you're
yeah. Yeah, okay.
line
I
three?
think it's working. Sorry. It was white on my screen. Okay, so like many of you, we were looking for a better way to manage supervision and feedback, not just administratively, but really trying to create a tool for real growth. So we, from the staff lens, I think Sean made a great point. When we look at value-based care and outcome measures, we tend to be so focused on client outcomes that we forget about our staff contributions and the contributions of the family. So Jigsaw had four key goals when we started using Hi Rasmus. We wanted to help our staff grow by giving them clear, trackable feedback. We wanted to, of course, like most of us, ensure consistent, high quality service delivery and documentation. We really wanted to make performance conversations easier and more objective. And really, we wanted to foster transparency and collaboration across our teams. So, for us, these goals were not just about compliance, they were really about creating a culture of shared accountability and professional development. Oh my goodness, every time
You know what? It shows up. It goes white for a second
okay,
and then it shows up.
okay.
So
Just,
we can see.
yeah, bear with me as I switch each time. So as we all know, there are so many platforms out there that we can choose from, but for us, Hirasmus really stood out just because of how customizable and clinically integrated it is. So we have the ability to build our own programs, create our own data collection tools that really align with our model and our values. And the staff profiles for us have really proved to be a centralized place that's helped us move away from managing information across, three or four external systems and into more efficient integrated workflows. I'll show some examples of the way that we use our programming today, but we have really appreciated the ability to write notes, create session prototypes, pull that data directly into documentation, collect signatures from various staff members from our team. And it's helped us really ultimately better support our staff growth. So it wasn't a huge shift in maybe the workflow that we're all used to implementing, but I think Erasmus has really enhanced what we're already doing and helped to make it more efficient. Okay, so for our staff profiles, when we look at creating those, each behavior technician has an individual staff profile that is set up during their onboarding, and we immediately connect them to the BCBAs that are going to be supporting them out in the field, as well as our training team. And then we help to build out their profile by uploading custom programs, like both of the scorecards that I'll share with you today. And then we create several performance-based sessions or prototypes that can be run to collect data on relevant programming for that specific performance area. It's been really nice to have the library feature because we upload all these programs and kind of standardize it for all of our staff based on role. And it has helped the staff know what we're tracking, right? They have a clear picture of how they're doing, what goals they have, what we're looking at from them, and it's really helped with setting expectations and keeping consistency across team members and supervisors. Um, the staff profile has, really become a one-stop hub for tracking, training, session quality, and ultimately their growth within their role over time. So we have taken this traditional idea of a scorecard and kind of like Sean did in his parent one, we have the ability to create these custom prompt levels with weighted scores on the back end. And that's really helped us, especially in the area of performance management, because the goal may not always be to get 100, but we want to get you close to proficient. So in this example here, we're looking at an infield performance scorecard. So the way this looks kind of in implementation is that our BCBAs run these scorecards during their supervision visit out in the field. And we have picked five, brief but, heavily important areas of performance that really have aligned with our values. And aside from increased clinical competency, we've defined just things that we want to see across the board, right? No matter if you're new, no matter if you're senior. And those things are just the quality, of interaction with the client, as an example, their overall responsiveness to feedback in the moment, their communication with the family, the people on our team, and then overall professionalism in how they're delivering the service. So one other way that we leverage scorecards to measure and improve quality is through our session note quality scorecards. So if you are familiar with CASP's recently published session note templates for the CPT codes, we have kind of taken those best practice expectations and created a scorecard that we actually use to audit session notes on a regular basis. This has allowed us to deliver staff feedback, create specialized training if there's kind of trending areas of difficulty. And we even, add phase change lines when we do implement an intervention or support our staff and kind of help really see if our training was effective, and if their scores after the delivery of that were increased. So we are really able to customize these programs by staff level or focus area, which has for us made it scalable but still meaningful. Is it still white? Okay. So after the scorecards are scored, the clinician, this is kind of my favorite part, they complete a session note that goes along with that data and that performance monitoring session. So we've created that, again, that session prototype on the back end where you have certain programs that you want to be run with certain session note fields that you expect whoever is running that session to complete. So this is where we document that specific feedback for the staff, and then we're able to share that with them for review and signature. So one of the most impactful features for us within this workflow has been the signature request and the ability to comment on the note. This has created a lot more transparency for us. It's allowed the feedback to be immediate, visible, and archived. So if they want to reference that later, they have access to their own staff profile, and they can even self-monitor. So having that data and feedback in one place has, I've seen huge changes in reducing just redundancy and decrease that typical, follow-up tasks associated with documenting feedback, making sure it was email, ensuring that it was received, and then kind of storing it in the right place. So this has helped really centralize that for us. Oh my goodness, technology giving me a challenge. So of course, collecting data is only useful if we do something with it. We know this in our field. We can kind of nerd out behind the screens, but what are you going to do with all that information? So we took it a step further beyond the scorecards and the staff profiles, and we actually built out some really cool reporting tools to help look at trends over time. And so we've really thought of this as a timeline that starts with observation but ends in opportunity for our staff. So we take that cumulative scorecard data and we use that during our quarterly reviews, during our connect meetings with the staff. And this has helped ensure that those evaluations are objective, that they're aligned with day-to-day work, and they're not just a one-time feedback session. And I think performance management for a lot of people can be scary, especially in the RBT role. And this, this system that we've kind of built out in Hi Rasmus has helped shift the conversation away from just corrective feedback and really into, how are you growing and how can we help you develop goals, which has really resonated with the people on our team. So we've seen a number of benefits since implementing the scorecards and really using the staff profiles and all that they have to offer in general. I have found that feedback as part of our supervision is more consistent and it's more purposeful. I have the ability to kind of generate, how many supervision sessions have we had and how many scorecards have we done? And that gives us a good idea of our sample size and helps us, feel confident that we are sampling, consistently. The RBT's kind of number one thing that they love about this is that they really understand what is being expected of them beyond just the RBT task list, beyond their job description, but at our organization, right? Are they aligning still with our values? Are we, supporting them and growing in their role? So it's really helped improve, communication between staff and supervisors, but also other key members of our leadership team that are not in the nitty-gritty of the system. We were able to provide a high-level overview because we have that aggregate data and those reports. And so everybody has visibility, which has helped, again, just support, that value-driven approach. Our performance management system has become far more efficient and organized, which has saved us time. And if you're a clinician, you know that our time is very valuable. And the scorecards for us really, they're not just about catching errors or proving that we're doing a good job. We want to capture progress. We have been able to, do a much better job at celebrating, those wins and what's working for our staff, but also provide coaching where needed, and help really give them a roadmap for growing in their role and beyond. So thank you so much for allowing me to share just a little snippet of how we use Hi Rasmus. Kind of like Sean said, I'm happy to connect further outside of this webinar or stick around in the Q&A to answer questions. So